Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith. I'm going to set this right over there. Today I am talking about They're Watching by Michael David Wilson and Bob Pastorella. And to make sure I got that right, I always want to say Pastorelli for some reason, but it's Bob Pastorella. This is from This Is Horror, which is a podcast that these two gentlemen host. And I didn't know it was a publishing company as well until I picked this up. I really love that cover. I hate that it came in damaged from Amazon, but what are you going to do? I like that back cover as well. So, They're Watching. We got a guy named Brian, and he's moved to a small coastal town. He's going to be starting a new job in about a month, and he moves into a flat, as they say, and he discovers that there is a hole in the wardrobe that looks into his neighbor's bedroom. She is a very attractive woman, and the same time every night she does a sexy dance, and he ends up watching her, and then things get weird, and it goes from there. So there's your little tease, your little nutshell. I've read Michael David Wilson before. I reviewed The Girl in the Video. I really enjoyed that. I have not read Bob Pastorella. I do plan on picking up his book Mojo Rising, I believe is what it's called. They seem to make a good team. The writing here is very smooth. I couldn't tell who wrote what. It all seems to be one voice. It's third person, but we're always in Brian's POV. He is in every single scene, as they say, and he's an interesting character. We get to know him. We meet him as he's just moving into this place, and we're with him through the whole story. He starts again watching his neighbor do a sexy naked dance. But they end up meeting, and they go out for coffee, but then some weird things happen, and he notices there's a guy outside the apartment looking up at his neighbor's window, throwing rocks at it. He decides to follow him, and then he meets a private eye who's talking about there's something going on, there's people missing, and he's been hired to look into it, and Brian learns that there have been some bad things that have happened in this town, and there's a mysterious guy that walks around in a red robe that everybody is always really happy to see. So just weird stuff, and Brian, is trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And because we are always with Brian, we only know what he knows. So we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on as well, and we're in his head, we're hearing his thoughts, and he's, for lack of a better term, wishy-washy. He's thinking about so-and-so, and he's like, all right, I trust this person, and then immediately he's like, wait, why do I trust this person? All I have is what they've told me. I don't know if they're lying to me or telling me the truth, but why would they lie to me? I think I trust them. Yeah, I should probably trust. Well, should I? Wait a minute. So we get a lot of that. This is a mind-bending kind of story. Again, simply because we're in Brian's head the whole time, not literally, but it messes with your head. And somebody here, I'm looking at the the blurbs. This isn't a blurb, but it says on the back here. You can see I'm looking. They're Watching is The Wicker Man meets Body Double with a splash of Suspiria. And Body Double immediately comes to mind because, for those of you who aren't familiar with that film, a guy is apartment sitting, and he's told, hey, if you look through this telescope, every night at 7 o'clock, there's a woman across the way that does a sexy dance. And so he does, and he sees a murder, and the movie goes on from there. So, of course, we've got Brian, who finds a peephole, watches his neighbor doing a sexy dance, Doesn't see her get murdered, at least. Um, but yeah, I think this book's a lot of fun. I think it's well written. I really like the characters. Brian's an interesting guy. We're learning about him, and he's got a sister that she's a successful single mother, lives in the city, but he talks to her, and the neighbor's interesting, and the PI, I like the PI character a lot, and Brian meets a young woman that works at the local coffee shop, and we get we meet her a few times. So lots of interesting characters, but lots of really weird stuff going on. Mysterious things that may or may not be mysterious. Is Brian? Well, some of it definitely is mysterious, but on the other hand, some of it, maybe Brian's just letting his imagination get away with him. It's compelling. It's definitely compelling writing. The only problem I had, and I meant to go back and check this before I started recording, but I didn't, but I'm almost certain, the time is a little wonky, I think. It just feels like it'll talk about Brian peeping a few times, so a few nights in a row, but he meets his neighbor and they go out for coffee, and then he peeps on her a few times, and then the next time he talks to her, she says something about, I enjoyed going out for coffee yesterday. And it's like, wait, but he's just spent 3 nights peeping on you since you went out. Things like that. It happens a couple of times, I think. And I don't know if that's... maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I missed something. Maybe... I don't know. It just... There's the same thing when he talks to his sister. He's like, I'll call you tomorrow. And yeah, it's possible he didn't call her tomorrow, but the next time they talk, it feels like they're talking the day after, just one day separate from their conversations, and yet multiple days worth of things have happened. It just threw me for a loop. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. But that's a minor quibble in a really compelling, weird, good, mysterious, freaky story. It's a mind bender, and I really enjoyed it. I love the cover. As I said, I'm really becoming a fan of Michael David Wilson. Hopefully, I'll become a fan of Bob Pastorella. I enjoy their podcast. This Is Horror is great. They're always great guests when they're on other podcasts that I listen to. They've been on a few. So that's, I think I've covered everything. I don't know that there's anything else to say. I don't want to give too much away. So that's They're Watching. I gave it 5. I think I gave it 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. So obviously I recommend it. Pick it up. I don't know if you can order it directly from This Is Horror. I got mine from Amazon, unfortunately. Ended up with some damage, but I'll live with it. What are you going to do? It's 2020. All right. So if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. Because we try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see my social media crap, I am at Ronan5757 on Twitter and Eric Smith5757 on Instagram, where I just basically post pictures of comic books and books and the occasional cat and tabletop game and stuff. So that's it. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.